So I am Cynthia Lee. I'm Associate Vice President of Development at Common Bond Communities, and I have been working on the Tallcorn now for about 3 years from start to finish. When we first came here and looked at the building, it was occupied. There were 65 very small rental units upstairs, and nothing on this first floor. It had been commercial in its heyday, and of course the ballroom was used in its heyday, but this area was vacated and in very poor condition, as was the rest of the building. It was affordable rental housing for people of all sorts of walks of life, but over the years it had become extremely dilapidated, extremely deteriorated from lack of maintenance and lack of repairs, and in addition to that, just general wear and tear. There were some issues with some, vagrancy and trespass and some criminal kinds of things in and outside of the building. So it had fallen into a very, very terrible state of affairs. But it was offered for sale with the hope that somebody would come in and transform it. And so Common Bond was asked to come look at it, and we felt it was a challenge, but a good challenge for us, because it just has so much potential to be great and grand again and be a wonderful home for our residents. We worked closely with the city and found lots and lots of support from local elected officials and city staff and the county and various other local foundations, funders, that kind of thing. We worked with the state of Iowa, the Iowa Finance Authority, and applied for low-income housing tax credits, which eventually we were awarded, and then went after historic tax credits from the state of Iowa and from the federal government, working with our architect to make sure that we could preserve the building in the way that would be required for those historic credits. Now, the building had already been designated as a historic structure, so we just knew we needed to bring in the preservation experts to make sure that we found ways to preserve the building that still were going to make it a functional, modernized building that was more energy efficient, had better unit floor plans. We reduced the units from 65 down to 49 to make them bigger and more livable. We were able to create some 2-bedroom units, so we have a mix of 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units, and working with just a great team, our architect, general contractor, all the various local subcontractors we worked with were tremendous. We ultimately got our financing approved, we got our designs done, and started construction in January of 2013. The construction process, start to finish, took a little over a year. We finished up, we got our final certificate of occupancy in May of this year, 2014, and but we actually had a temporary certificate of occupancy and started moving people in April. So we've had a great response to the community, from the community in terms of applications for housing units. We really liked its location, right in downtown, on Main Street, in an area where there are a lot of amenities within walking distance, and near services and schools and libraries and retail on the bus line, and the configuration of the building just works really well for housing, and then all of our resident areas, including computer room, fitness room, library, craft room, community room, laundry. All of those are down on our lower level. So people who come in from the parking lot enter in down there, get their mail. Our offices are right down on that first floor, and it's a kind of a hub for the residents. And then they enter their units usually through the elevator, which is right down there. And then our first floor is then, it's a mixed-use building, so we have first floor commercial space, the storefront areas on Main Street, which are being leased up for office, retail, possibly small restaurant, that kind of thing, coffee shop, and then our grand ballroom with the accompanying lobby area and entrance that really is something we think will be a great mixed kind of multi-purpose use for somebody that wants to come in and do something really grand with it. You know, in our storefront retail spaces, we really think we will see a mix, office, certainly retail, and you know, we'd love to see a coffee shop or something like that. And then our ballroom, which is grand once again, totally restored to its historic original appearance, including the paint colors, which we determined from historic paint testing. That area we think has a lot of potential, certainly for event space. Somebody could do weddings, meetings, social gatherings on an event kind of basis, but also it could be something like a dance studio, a yoga studio. We are open to the possibilities.